Although rated one of the poorest countries in the Western Hemisphere, Guyana has great potential in its human resources. CUSO International Guyana believes that education is the key to Guyana overcoming poverty, but in order to do so, people-centered development must be promoted at all levels of society. In the beginning, VSO Guyana, now CUSO International, education program focused on placing overseas volunteer teachers into classrooms around the country. In 2004, the focus shifted towards improving the delivery of quality education and promoting inclusive education, especially for children with disabilities, through curriculum development, teacher training, and management support for regional education offices. Approximately 2 years later, the focus shifted again. This time, VSO Guyana, now CUSO International, decided to bring about long-term sustainable change by motivating citizens to become volunteer teachers themselves.
My name is Franslin Farias. My name is Paula Ignatius. We live in Quarry Village. My teacher is a national volunteer. You can make a difference.
In Guyana, the highest incidence of poverty is in the rural and hinterland populated areas, which are predominantly inhabited by Amerindians and have the lowest education attainment in the country. That is because there is a great need for teachers in these regions.
So often children are not going to school because there's no teacher in the class to teach. In addition to that, they may not be going to school because of poverty in their community, or they may not have an interest in school because they have not been exposed to adequate education.
In 2007, Youth Challenge Guyana teamed up with VSO Guyana, now CUSO International, and the Ministry of Education to place local volunteer teachers into the classrooms of these remote communities through the National Volunteer Teachers Program.
Youth Challenge Guyana and CUSO International work together to develop this program with the Ministry of Education to be able to increase the amount of time children are seen by a teacher in their schools in the interior locations.
2 multiplied by 1. 2 ones are 2 fours are 8. Can John Len come and do this one for us on the board?
According to the Ministry of Education, one of the major problems that this sector faces with respect to teachers is the continuous loss of trained teachers. In general, the average loss is 12% annually, with 40 to 45% being trained teachers. Over a 3-year period, 633 trained teachers left the public education sector for various reasons.
I think this course, this training, this program is a very good program. It is helping a need, and I see there's a dire need in the outlying areas whereby teachers don't want to go, trained teachers don't want to go. But then if these teachers just venture out, there's so much in the environment that will encourage them and will keep them when they get here.
The partnership with CUSO International and their international partners have been wonderful. Youth Challenge Guyana has benefited tremendously from interventions for capacity building in the areas of organizational development, through which we have developed our strategic plan on other types of operational documents for the organization. We've had volunteers working with us to improve our funding mechanism and our business model to be able to acquire resources for the organization. We've had support in relation to improving the gender awareness and sensitivity of the organization and staff to issues affecting women and men across the country. We've had volunteers who've supported improving our monitoring in the organization so that we have efficient ways of measuring the results and success or failures of our programs.
A national volunteer teacher's placement generally lasts for approximately 1 school year within a particular school, but can be further extended for another year upon the volunteer's request.
However, we do encourage people, once they've done the volunteer teachers program for 1 year or 2, to seek toward other opportunities, because we think the volunteer teaching is primarily opening the doors for further opportunities that those persons might be able to find.
partners with little technical input from CUSO International are implementing the National Volunteer Teachers Program, although CUSO still provides a small grant to cover the cost of implementation.
We believe that the Volunteer Teachers Program for local volunteers to be able to teach across the country is a critical element of developing young people and young people's self-esteem. I think that more resources could be garnered for this type of youth engagement in Guyana to be able to create the kind of change we want among our young people.
CUSO's work in national volunteerism and education is linked, as volunteers are working to develop a volunteer support platform that continually builds the capacity of national volunteers nationwide. In 2010, VSO Guyana, now CUSO International, undertook a collaborative research with the United Nations Volunteers Program and the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport to assess the feasibility of a volunteer support platform that would assist in nation building through youth participation.
The volunteerism support platform was conceptualized by both the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport and CUSO International with the aim of giving volunteers and volunteer-involved in organizations a voice.
Launched in 2012, the Volunteerism Support Platform, VSP, operates in 3 strategic pillars of activities: recruitment and mobilization, referral and data collection, and training, institutional strengthening, and advocacy.
Prior to the VSP, there was no collaborative effort to house all the information gathered, all the work done by any one particular institution. And the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport undertook to be the house for all information regarding volunteers and volunteer-involved organizations.
VSP also hopes to sustain volunteerism by collaborating with government, the private sector, and civil society to help nurture the skills of the labor force by providing hands-on experience and not just training.
Now, when we start thinking about volunteering, many organizations have been doing this, many individuals have been doing this for many years. But we decided some years ago that we want to improve how we volunteer here in Guyana. And we did some research on this, we did a policy paper on it, and out of that we were able to then develop what is now called the volunteer platform. But when we use the word platform, we are seeing ourselves as facilitators, that we are creating the enabling environment for people to volunteer. So we want to match people who have intentions of volunteering with organizations who need volunteers. So we are like a bridge, right? Where we are bridging needs that some organization might have with resources that other people would like to bring.
Many organizations they're coming to our organization, the Volunteerism Support Platform, to maybe think of ways on how we can create gender-sensitive programs. Now that's an increase for us. That's a win, because many organizations weren't talking about having gender-sensitive programs. Now you're having them thinking about these programs in that way.
Alright, so the next activity you're going to do in your group, if you wish to change the name of your group.
VSP has also launched volunteerism in schools in an effort to ensure that volunteering is seen as critical to the well-being of society, and everyone who wants to volunteer can do so easily.
Well, so far in collaboration with CUSO, we have trained like 13 peer educators. They will be going to the schools and working with the voluntary school groups as to how they will identify community projects within the schools and schools project. And the peer educators would be a link in terms of assisting those young people within their groups in finding avenues as how to find funding, how to probably write a simple proposal, how to get things done by themselves as young people.
VSP has also introduced annual volunteer fairs and a National Youth Awards in order to celebrate the accomplishments of volunteers.
It's very important for anyone particularly us here at the Ministry of Culture and Sport, to recognize the work of volunteers and volunteer organizations. And it's only a stepping stone for the benefits of volunteering. We decided for the very first time, being a government agency, to reward the works of those persons who would have excelled in many areas as regards to volunteering. Never before has any one institution decided to reward volunteers from across the country.
I love volunteering. I think it's just something that I'm passionate about and I'll be doing for the rest of my life.
I volunteer because I like helping.
I volunteer because I want to see change, and I believe that change starts with the individual.
I volunteer because not only is it a constructive way for me to spend my time, but I got to do things that benefit a cause that I care about.
For me, it's all about community, and community is a big word in the sense that it allows young people to connect, it allows them to network.
It's a way of also helping people develop themselves. So I encourage others to volunteer as well, because volunteering is very important. When you finish school, you might not get a job right away, but volunteering your service can help you get a job eventually.
Job creation through volunteerism seems to be a step in the right direction, and CUSO International over the years has supported a few more organizations like VSP who prepare young people for the workforce by educating them on the implications of having a job or a career.
When we create an action plan, we want to think about our goals, we want to think that specific.
And so the program is basically using volunteers, volunteer facilitators to implement a career guidance curriculum. It was developed and designed by our CUSO volunteer, and they have been testing the curriculum in school. The overall objective of the program is to make it a national career guidance program in school, so youth can be a bit more focused on what career path they want to take as they are preparing for CSEC and preparing to leave school at the end of writing their CSEC exams and so on.
For the past 18 years, Volunteer Youth Corps, VYC, has been dedicated to empowering and assisting in the development of vulnerable and at-risk youth ages 13 to 16 years old. VYC provides after-school services to save school-age youth from slipping through the cracks of the school system and society in general.
In the last 2 years or so, we have more diversified our focus to look at economic support for youth through addressing the issue of unemployment and skills development for young people, livelihood support. And the other area we have been focusing more and more is on education, looking at supporting maths and science for high school youth and for children who are who are preparing for common entrance.
CUSO International volunteers over the past 3 years have lent a helping hand to VYC to transition into its new program areas with vocational training at the core, including VYC's Career Guidance Program.
The CUSO volunteer was able to present it on our behalf to the Ministry of Education. As a result of that, we were given permission to implement a pilot in schools, in the public schools, and we have made efforts to do so, which has been, for the last 2 years we've been doing that. We've also implemented it in the private schools.
I'm Candice Batigans. I'm a national volunteer for VYC. We do in-school training, working with youths, going to different secondary schools, and we target the 4th and 5th formers. And what we have them do is basically teach them basic skills they'll need when they get into the work environment. how to correctly do a CV, work ethics, things like that, just so they are aware of these things that are needed.
VYC's recruitment process is fairly simple and mostly relies on the existing volunteer support infrastructure.
We have placed an ad when we had first introduced the program. We were ready to implement the program in school, and we had also went through the volunteer support platform to help us to identify youth who might be interested in teaching in school. One of the requirements is, of course, that they must have some experience facilitating and working with youth. Also, a strong consideration is if they're coming with a background in economics or so on, or social work that can be suitable for when they're engaged in the youth in the classroom.
VOIC also has a job bank that provides career guidance for young persons between the ages of 16 and 21 who may be unskilled, semi-skilled, or skilled that are actively looking for employment.
At the end of it, we want to expand the program into as many schools as possible. We want to reduce volunteer teachers and have the schools themselves have teachers implementing the program. At some point, we want to ensure that our resources is large enough that we can support the ministry, right, in that sense.
CUSO International also provides support in the area of social and economic empowerment for youth through Women Across Differences, Adolescent Mothers program that helps young women who are discriminated against because of their gender to continue their education and join the workforce.
I am Kona Saurus Boston, and I'm the coordinator of Women Across Differences, a non-governmental organization in Guyana. Our main focus is empowerment of women and youth, more specifically young girls.
As of 2013, Guyana has the second highest rate of adolescent pregnancy in both the Caribbean and South America, with 97 out of every 1,000 girls between the ages of 15 and 19 giving birth.
In Guyana in 2014, we had 1,332, if I could recall vividly, babies born to teenage mothers. What is saying to us? You don't see pregnant girls, but once they're pregnant, they're out of the school. Number of times we have heard principals or teachers say to us that the pregnant girls would influence the others. So you normally wouldn't see a pregnant girl go to school. It's either she finished or she has to drop out of school. Because of discrimination, even with the teachers, we had a case in which one of our girls got her baby, went back to school. The same teacher who promised to put in confidence in her girl. She pointed her out to students and also to as if she's bad, you know. Don't interact with her, don't mix with her. She has a child.
In Wallace, she speaks the truth. She reaches out.
What UNFPA really wanted is for us to focus on sexual reproductive health. After our ongoing monitoring and evaluation, we realized that it would not work. To bring young girls in, just telling them about sexual reproductive health and family planning cannot work. And that is how the entire name was changed, a comprehensive program for adolescent girls. And we decided to add other components of the program, like personal development, basic functional literacy, probably preparing them to go back into school. So that was done. That's the basic math, the basic English, the thing of grammar, those basic things. And then we also realized to have, at that time, in the early time when we started 2008, we focused on girls 15 to 19. I know we're focusing on 12 to 19 now, because things change.
Well, it helps rebuild my self-esteem because for a woman to get pregnant, I stayed indoors. I was ashamed to walk the road because everybody would criticize you and say, look what she has done. It changed my life in many ways, whereby I was able to learn more about being a mother. And coming here, I met other teenage mothers like myself who have been through what I'm going through and worse. So that helped me to show me that This is not the end of the road. I was able to choose a career path. You still get your whole life ahead of you.
But we realize bringing them here, just talking, that's what I feed them here. We decided to do some other skills with them. And that is how we did the other skills training like tie-dye, batik, floral, all other creative craft for them.
A few of the adolescent mothers who have completed the Women Across Differences WAD Comprehensive Empowerment Program have begun volunteering at WAD by sharing their stories with their peers.
Me first it used to be odd because like then I was a shy person with self-esteem, whatever, but now I'm accustomed to it because I know what it is like, or I went through the same situation. So most of the problems we would either help one another. If we can't help them, we would refer to the seniors. Resolving certain issues, they work along with you throughout. This is not just a process whereby you just get pregnant to come with WAD, you get a baby and this it, but we work along through in life because you got people all married, gone and still coming back. Like me, I don't ever go nowhere. I stay all the time. Well, I would like to speak to young people. Being a teenage mother is a very hard road, and I would like to take contraceptives, take anything, because stay in school, be focused, because to know about anything, you have to learn about it first, and school's the best place, and that's the only opportunity you have, because most of the teenage mothers that get pregnant, they're either poor or whatever, and it's hard to get back in school. Most age range too, you have to be 15 years, 3 months to go back in the public school.
And we strongly feel investing in these girls made a great difference in their lives. And once they're going to continue to share their stories, it will make a difference in the lives of other persons who really listen and to actually buy into those stories, and to encourage other teenage mothers not to do the same, and to come on board, that you have a future. You could change, your attitude could change, you could be a different person. Most of the girls will say to us, they never thought it would go back to school. They thought their life would have finished.
In 2013, CUSO International signed an agreement with WAD out of mutual interest. Both organizations work feverishly to promote equitable, sustainable economic growth and active citizenship amongst disadvantaged youth.
So we had one volunteer dealing with justice for our young girls because of the fact most of our girls, a lot of them were abused or in an abusive relationship. So we had one volunteer in that area, and what that did for us, it helped us to really identify a little bit to understand how the justice system can operate even in Guyana, because we were linked to other areas like the Women Lawyers Association created that link, and we're now working very strongly now with Help and Shelter. Other than what CUSO provides as it relates to volunteers, CUSO went beyond that for us, because although we had the volunteers here, we were privileged, I should call it privileged, to have CUSO help us with the more strategic planning. I am sure it was not part of it, but the request was made and it was done, and we were very grateful for that. So what CUSO also did, they gave us some aspect of funding, and that is why we were working with them. Because from the work that we do, we realize that there is need to empower men and boys. For example, in an abusive relationship, they did not know that that's the wrong thing they're doing. Beating upon these girls, they think it was okay for them to do it.
CUSO International's work does not end here.
So CUSO International is a volunteer sending organization. We're international, and we largely work to promote volunteerism in reducing poverty and inequality across the world. We do work in the Caribbean, Africa, Asia, the Pacific, and largely right now we have a very exciting new program, so we're trying to promote national volunteering within the Caribbean and recruiting Caribbean volunteers for the first time to volunteer in other Caribbean countries as well.
CUSO International will continue supporting national volunteering programs that supports the improvement of quality education in Guyana, because we believe that education is the key to Guyana overcoming poverty, and it can be achieved through national volunteering.